top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 7 o'clock newscast brought to you by Connexus, providing fiber internet to Clinton. Check out their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. News also today brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters. Here's what we have coming up for you in news on this Thursday. The DeWitt County Board has approved new insurance for employees of the county. Local entrepreneurship students are readying for their end-of-year trade shows. The Central Illinois CEO Program Trade Show is tonight in Forsyth. Details on that comes up next in news. A local school leader is weighing in on AI and its future in education. And the Miller Park Zoo is excited to unveil its restored Carousel. That story comes up later in news this morning as well. This morning, we'll also take a look at those rainfall totals from yesterday across Central Illinois. And speaking of those rainfall totals across Central Illinois, let's take a look at those right now. If you're following us on Facebook here for this morning, you can check out as we scroll through the area. In DeWitt County, over by Farmer City, around 0.4 of an inch of rain. In fact, both reports kind of within just a mile or two of each other, around 0.42 inches of rain. Both of the reports have the same number for this morning. Let's move to the west in Lincoln. Reports ranging between 0.8 and 0.9 in Lincoln. Just outside of Lincoln to the southwest, about 0.8 of an inch of rain, kind of in the eastern portion of Logan County, very southeast corner of Logan County, where Macon and Logan meet outside of Latham, about 0.5 inch of rainfall reported there. Moving to the north in Bloomington Normal, reports ranging between a half an inch, 0.6, 2/3, 7/10, even 0.9 of an inch of rain in one location in Bloomington Normal from yesterday. Just outside of Hayworth in the southern portion of McLean County, about 1/3 of an inch of rainfall. And north of Carlock, where McLean and I believe Woodford County meets, about 0.5 inch of rainfall reported there in that portion of McLean County. Moving into Champaign County, Champaign-Urbana, reports ranging between around 1/10 of an inch of rain in Champaign. Meanwhile, you move into Urbana, reports between 0.5 and 0.6 of an inch of rainfall. In Philo in Champaign County, about 0.5 inch of rain, 1/10 of an inch of rain reported in Homer. Meanwhile, about 0.3 of an inch of rainfall reported in St. Joseph in the eastern portion of Champaign County yesterday. Right now, no reports out of Piatt County for the morning. No reports out of Macon County for the morning. Moving over to the Springfield area in Sangamon County in the southeast part of Springfield, about an inch of rainfall reported in that portion of Springfield. Christian County, outside of Edinburgh, about 1/3 of an inch of rainfall in the northwest portion of Christian County from yesterday. Menard County in Petersburg, 0.4 of an inch of rainfall. Tazewell County, Morton, about 0.4 of an inch of rainfall. Between Deer Creek and Mackinac, 0.4 of an inch of rainfall south of the highway in the northern portion of Tazewell County. Just short of 0.5 inch of rain in Washington in northern Tazewell County. Woodford County in the western portion, Metamora, just short of 0.5 inch near the river in western Woodford County, just short of 0.5 inch as well. Meanwhile, off of the highway in the eastern portion of Woodford County, nearly 0.9 of an inch of rainfall from yesterday as well. Southern Livingston County, Chatsworth, about 1/3 of an inch of rainfall. Northern Livingston County, near DeWitt, about 1/3 of an inch of rainfall. It's interesting. In the southern portion, south of DeWitt, 1/3 of an inch of rain. But then you get into southern Grundy County, just north of DeWitt, 0.9 of an inch of rainfall. So differing rainfall totals there in northern Illinois from the last 24 hours. Northern Moultrie County, 1/4 of an inch of rain. Arthur, where Moultrie and Douglas counties meet, 0.3 of an inch of rainfall. In the eastern portion of Douglas County in Newman, about 1/5 of an inch of rain reported there. Shelbyville in Shelby County, 0.4 of an inch of rainfall in that portion of central Illinois. So some good rain from yesterday. I was talking to a few producers in central Illinois yesterday. Doesn't seem to be anything that is going to wash them out here for the next, and maybe a day or two, but nothing significant from the last few days. As always, cocoros.org, where we find those rainfall totals. That's the Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, and Snow Network, and you can do a lot of moving around. It's a great interactive map. You can do one date. You can do a range of dates as well, but cocoros.org, where you'll find all of that. All right, let's get to the news here on this Thursday. DeWitt County employees will have a new insurance option as open enrollment approaches. DeWitt County Board Chair Joe Whitty explains, although the two existing health insurance plans would see a premium increase this year, the county found a third option that is cheaper, giving employees the ability to find the plan that works for them.
Yeah, so we have open enrollment coming up pretty soon. I think July, we have open enrollment for the health plan options for our employees. Everywhere, health insurance seems to get more and more expensive. We were kind of excited this year that, even though our quote for the insurance for county employees' health would increase premium some this year, we were able to find a third option. So historically, I think the last several years, they've had two options. We got a quote this year where we could add a third option that would actually be at a lesser cost to employees. I mean, it seems like it's a fairly decent plan too. So what we covered last month, they went over the details of those plans in finance. And then we looked at that, at the county board level, took their recommendation, which is basically keep the same two options that we've offered employees in the past if they want. That would increase in cost a little bit for the employees, but there's a third option that we were able to make available. The county's cost, what we contribute as an employer, would remain the same, but employees would have an option to reduce their premium for a very comparable and adequate insurance if they so choose. So, it's not every year that you can do that. Every year, premiums are going to fluctuate and they tend to rise, but we were kind of pleased that we had a good year, a nice quote, and minimal impact to both the county and the employees this year as far as the actual premiums charged.
While insurance premiums often increase year to year with the states, Whitty states the county took on the majority of those costs the last 2 years to prevent employees from facing impactful price changes.
We did approve that. We've got open enrollment coming, and I think in the months ahead, there will be opportunities for any employees who are looking at those plans to come in and ask some questions of, the gentleman, Mr. Johnson, who kind of offered the details at finance for. So that did get approved, and so those will be coming up here in the next couple of months. Well, you want to make sure that the premiums, because there are going to be years where those might jump significantly. And I think that has happened over the last couple of years, and the county has picked up a larger portion of the cost. So I think for the last 3 years, the county has, last 2 years prior to this one, has increased what they've contributed to those plans so that the cost to the employee, they didn't see the brunt of that increase or any increase. And this year we were excited that, there's a very comparable plan that won't cost any more to the employer, the county, or the employee. So, you just never know what the next year is going to bring. You have a bad year with experience, and we might get a higher quote here, a larger premium increase. So you just take it year by year. But I know the finance committee does a very good job of trying to make sure that we are not impacting the employees by them feeling the brunt of any type of increase. And that they've been very successful, I think, the last 3 years.
Whitty is grateful to the Finance Committee and taxpayers of DeWitt County who enable the board to make county careers sustainable and desirable. Students in the Central Illinois business class are getting ready for the final stages of a year-long program. Students in the Central Illinois CEO program will be front and center with their individual businesses tonight at Hickory Point Mall in Forsyth. Melanie Brown is the facilitator of the Central Illinois CEO program and indicates students will have their businesses on display.
Our trade show. This is where the students who have been working hard since the beginning of January, and even some prior to that, to launch their individual businesses. And tomorrow is, in a sense, launch day. Some of them have already started, having customers and transactions, but some are waiting till tomorrow. It is from 5 to 7 at Hickory Point Mall, and we set up booths for them, and they get to come in and basically create a storefront with their booth. So if you're coming out, they are accepting Apple Pay, Venmo, cash. Some are doing credit card, but come out and support these young entrepreneurs. It's a really exciting culmination of everything they've done all year.
Lisa Shepard is the facilitator of the Sangamon Valley CEO program and indicates their event is coupled with the Whites of Spring event in Monticello next Friday. She encourages the community to come out and at the very least learn more about what the program is and what the students are doing.
We are Friday night, May 9th. It's also coupled with the Whites of Spring in Monticello. So make it a full night.
There
You
go.
enjoy the entire community in Monticello that evening. It's going to be a great night. We'll have snacks and cookies there, and we are 6 to 8 p.m. at the Monticello Community Building Friday, May 9th. I would really encourage the general public to come out, even if you're just curious about seed. Yes, we want you to purchase and buy the products of the students, but at the same time, it's really helpful for our students just to have those extra interactions, that having people come up to them and talk to them about their business is really impactful, whether they purchase things or not. And that's really real life too, that everybody who walks into your store or by your booth is not going to purchase something, but have an engaging conversation, whether it feels a little bit awkward or not.
Brown's students recently did a mock trade show with 8th graders in the footprint of the Central Illinois CEO schools, and she feels her students learned some valuable lessons in that process.
Okay, so Midland Institute, our parent company, they have once a quarter, all of the facilitators get together on a Zoom call, and we have guest speakers, and then we get to have breakout sessions. And I find them so valuable. We get to connect with other facilitators and say, hey, what are you doing? What is working for you? And another facilitator had suggested doing a mock trade show, that they had done it, and it was very successful, and it really helped the students prepare. I did it reluctantly because it's a busy time of year, and I wasn't sure if my students were ready for that, but it was phenomenal. We did it with Maroa-Forsyth Middle School, and we invited the 8th graders in from 8 to 8:45 to come in and shop the trade show. So my students had to basically have their booths ready to go, having the payment methods all set up and ready, their advertisements, transactions, everything that they needed was ready, set, and to go. The great thing about it was it gave the 8th graders an opportunity to see what's ahead. So it was kind of a recruiting tool. We had a lot of 8th graders come over afterwards and say, how do I get involved with this? What did they do to apply? So we're planting seeds already there. And then secondly, one of the things that my students found out the most was they said, that some of them came up and they were awkward. And I said, well, you're going to have people come to your booth at the trade show that are awkward, or walk in your store that are awkward, or you're going to have awkward phone conversations or interviews, and learning to navigate that now is a great life skill. Right. So think of a couple talking points. How can you start the conversation? Could you offer something in your booth that's interactive that you could point them to? So it was just such a great opportunity. I will do it again.
The Central Illinois Trade Show, again, is tonight from 5 to 7 at Hickory Point Mall in Forsyth, while the Sangamon Valley CEO Trade Show is from 6 to 8 p.m. next Friday, May 9th at the Monticello Community Building. For more information on both chapters, visit centralillinoisceo.com or sangamonvalleyceo.com, and they both are on Facebook and Instagram. News time is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Thursday. Again, we stream to Facebook and YouTube this morning, and news brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Connexus, providing fiber internet in Clinton. School leaders in America are actively learning about the future of education in a world where artificial intelligence is prominent. Adam Ibbotson is the superintendent of Monticello Schools and characterizes artificial intelligence as the next big thing, but more powerful even than when the internet first arrived on the scene in education.
AI is the next thing. It's just coming really fast and is a lot more powerful and more capable. And
right.
I think from my stance of it, I see AI as a tool. I see it as something that it needs guardrails. I think anytime that you introduce a tool, the implication, it's more about the user than it is the tool itself. So thinking about a calculator. If I never learned that 2 times 2 is 4, I didn't know that 3 times 3 was 9. There's a detriment to that about knowing my doubles facts or knowing about those. I need to know how to do some of those basic calculator facts. But if I'm trying to solve a really complex trigonometry problem using my trig functions, a calculator is really helpful.
Right.
If I'm trying to do that, that's a helpful tool. Same thing with the internet. Like the internet can be used for really kind of just flat out evil things. But there's also a wealth of information that we can educate ourselves with. So with AI, the point of that super conference was that if you're going to ignore it, you're going to be behind. So you need to educate yourself, know what some of those tools are, and know how we can utilize it.
For Ibbotson, AI is a great resource. He points out it can also be, it cannot be the only resource. He feels there still needs to be that individual and human element.
You can use AI to kind of take some of your time back from nights and weekends. So, for example, I was looking at different teacher contracts. I can take a picture of those. I can take those PDFs. I can scan them into ChatGPT. And I can say, write me an executive summary of the difference between the Clinton contract and the Maroa contract. I don't have to analyze it. It's going to spit it out something. Now, it's still on me to really analyze that, look at it, do my homework, but it can give me some bullets and some ideas about where to start.
Totally.
That's really helpful.
Totally.
He talked about how with some paperwork for students that teachers that are special educators, the IEP writing process. There's so much data to gather, and you can use that to consolidate. There's tools to get there. So they were really approaching it from utilize the good parts to bring back some of those nights and weekends that you could use. And then even from a student's point of view, like I've got a senior in high school, he'll take a paper, he'll write it, he will take and plug that into an AI tool, and he'll say, can you write this with different clarity or conciseness?
Yes.
Am I on message for this? I don't think that's wrong. I think just like spell check was terrible, that doesn't mean that I will always be a terrible speller. Now, do I have to practice that? And when I handwrite stuff, do I have to think about it more? Yes. But there are tools to make that happen. And they shared about, even with AI, how this is going to shape the job market and about what this looks like, whether it was coding something for a website.
Maroa-Forsyth and numerous other districts in central Illinois are actively bringing in speakers and presenters to show how AI can enhance their learning environment and ways AI is useful in the education world. News time is 24 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Thursday. A brief break, and we'll wrap things up coming up on the morning show.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. This is what we do every day. We listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that's knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full service dealer. See us at baumchevybuick.com right from the start.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
News time is 25 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Thursday. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. There's a carousel-shaped hole in the heart of fans of the Miller Park Zoo in Bloomington. Jay Pratt is the executive director of the Miller Park Zoo and explains their carousel was dismantled last fall while it is being restored, but soon it will be returning after receiving new life.
Yeah, so
So Carousel Relics out of Ohio is the company that we had been working with. They dismantled and took it away last fall. We were expecting probably 6 to 8 months for them to work on it. I mean, the entire thing has been refinished, blasted, repainted, refinished. The animals, interestingly enough, our animals were not any type of wood. They were actually an aluminum base, which actually allowed them to use a dip to scour and get rid of everything off. There were some repairs that were needed because of the age of them, but they've been lovingly restoring every single aspect of that. We're waiting right now. We're hoping for confirmation, in the next couple of weeks. They're waiting for just that canopy piece, and they're trying to nail down somebody, because as you can imagine, carousels are not that common. So they're trying to get that last little piece and then they'll give us a ship date. But we hope to have the carousel, they'll bring it back, we'll unload it, and then they'll get it all reinstalled back on the same site that it was. Meanwhile, our team, Park and Rec and the zoo, we have been restoring the site. We've worked with the society. The society is actually also helping with a contract for new decorative fencing once the carousel goes up. So we've got some timelines in place. We're just waiting to hear that it's all done and it's on our way. So my hope is by the next time we talk, that thing's either back up or we know what day it's coming.
The carousel at the Miller Park Zoo is loved by local residents. Pratt explains the zoo received donations from people who had never donated before to support the restoration of the attraction.
When I first got here, I don't remember if we talked about this, I walked around the zoo and being accredited and having gone through all of this, accreditation is not just how we care for the animals. It's about everything. It's about how we manage our funds. It's about conservation. It's about staff culture, but it's also about the aesthetics of your zoo, our educational graphics and whatever. And that poor faded carousel with its little tattered old, canopy that it had, it just broke my heart every time I saw it. And so when the society actually that year, we decided that was going to be our project of greatest need. And so they found and located, the company. We started fundraising and working for that from all the major events. But what was really interesting about it is, and again, as left-brained as I am, I do everything from AZA, it's the best thing for the zoo, the animals, and not being from the community, I don't think about nostalgia and the impact that it can have. But when we reopened the Katofer building after 4 years of being closed, people that had not previously donated to the zoo or to events were making donations towards the carousel because they had memories about their children, their grandchildren coming and enjoying that. And so I anticipate that when the society does have a, hey, it's back event, it's going to, we hope to be a really big deal. And people used the heck out of that thing and loved it when it was in its less happy state. It is going to come back brand new and beautiful, and we are excited.
While it isn't guaranteed, Pratt hopes the carousel will be back up and running by Memorial Day. To learn more about the Miller Park Zoo in Bloomington, visit mpzs.org. News time is 29 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Thursday. Coverage of news brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Connexus, providing fiber internet to Clinton. Get news anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com. Good sports day in Central Illinois yesterday. Winners on the baseball diamond included Clinton, Maroa-Forsyth, and Normal Community. Those stories next in sports.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Following that highly publicized false start at the White House, the U.S. and Ukraine have signed an economic cooperation agreement. It grants the U.S. development rights to Ukraine's valuable rare earth minerals. Will also fund reconstruction of a post-war Ukraine. In the meantime, though, the war rages on. While announcing trillions of additional business investment in the U.S., President Trump blames his predecessor for the economy's first quarter slump. He counsels patience, arguing tariffs will eventually cause the economy to boom. The nation's highest court has heard arguments over the question of public funding for a private online religious charter school, a case that has nationwide implications. Watching Wall Street this morning, stock futures have been higher so far. The Dow futures up 328 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 370. More details at srnnews.com.
Sale would be unlawful.
With SRN Sports, I'm Andrew Stewart. NBA playoff game winners yesterday. Rudy Gobert had playoff career highs of 27 points and 24 rebounds. Teammate Julius Randle added 23 points, and the Minnesota Timberwolves now advance in the NBA playoffs. The T-Wolves got a 103-96 victory over the LA Lakers in Game 5 of their first-round series. Anthony Edwards had 15 points and 11 rebounds for the 6-seeded Wolves, who won 3 straight games to eliminate LeBron James and Luka Doncic from their first postseason together. Other NBA winners yesterday, Houston routs Golden State. NHL playoff game winners yesterday, Washington, Florida, and Winnipeg. In the NFL, tight end George Kittle agrees to a 4-year contract extension with the San Francisco 49ers. This is SRN Sports. There's a backlash by race drivers over bad words.
Formula One's boss is hinting he may ease up on punishment for drivers for swearing. Mohammed Ben Sulayem says there may be some changes to the punishments for a range of offenses, including cursing. Max Verstappen is one of the drivers who has been fined for swearing.
I prefer not to speak about that. It might get me in trouble.
The base fine for an F1 driver is $45,000.
That's correspondent Ed Donahue reporting. Baseball winners yesterday won interleague contest, Milwaukee over the White Sox 6-4. American League winners, Detroit, Seattle, Cleveland, Kansas City, Baltimore, Toronto, and the Athletics. National League winners, St. Louis, Colorado, the Dodgers, San Diego, St. Louis again, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Arizona. With sports, I'm Andrew.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. In a game heard on WHOW and all its digital platforms, Clinton down Tuscola 5-1 in Central Illinois Conference high school baseball action Wednesday in Clinton. The Maroons were led by Jack Manning, who went the distance on the mound. The junior allowed an unearned run on 4 hits, struck out 6, and issued 2 walks. He was 1 for 3 with a run scored, earning the Serve Pro of Piatt-DeWitt County's player of the game. Colton Walker finished 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. Jackson Reynolds was 2 for 3, and Josh Bass had an RBI double, walking twice. The Warriors were led by Caden Russo, who was 2 for 3. Connor Musgraves was 1 for 3 with a run scored, and John Petrie went 1 for 3. Russo also allowed 5 runs on 5 hits. He struck out 3 and issued 4 for the Warriors. With the win, Clinton improves to 10-10, and Tuscola falls to 8-16. Tuscola will host Meridian on Friday. Clinton hits the road next Wednesday to Warrensburg-Latham with a first pitch of 4:30. Maroa-Forsyth defeated Argenta-Oriena 11-1 in non-conference high school baseball action on Wednesday in Argenta. The Trojans jumped out to an early lead, scoring a run in the first and 6 in the second. Maroa-Forsyth's second inning rally began when Mitch Williams singled in a run. Ace Giles then reached on an error, scoring Williams. Camden Trendler singled, scoring Tate Brendenberg. Caden Rose singled, scoring Giles. Finally, Colby Parrott singled, scoring Gunnar Larner, who had walked earlier in the inning. The Trojans added 2 more runs in the third and 2 more in the seventh. Offensively for Argenta-Oriena, Landon Jackson was 1 for 3 with a double and scored the Bombers' lone run. MJ Hall added a double, going 1 for 3. Carter Logue, Lucas Camfield, and Carson West each recorded hits for the Bombers. Ian Haynes and Parrott combined to limit the Bombers to a run on 3 with 3 strikeouts apiece. Argenta-Oriena drops to 9-7 overall. They travel to Toledo, Cumberland on Thursday. Maroa-Forsyth is 13-5 overall. They are on the road at Auburn on Thursday. Landon Corbin was dominant on the mound, and Normal Community scored 8 runs in the 5th inning to power past Peoria Richwoods 11-1 in Big 12 Conference High School Baseball on Wednesday evening. Normal Community got on the board early in the bottom of the first and extended its lead to 2-0 after the second. The game remained 2-0 until the bottom of the 5th when Normal Community exploded offensively. The inning began when Brady Burkhart drew a walk. Carter Harris singled, advancing Burkhart to second. Luke Beatty walked, loading the bases. Kyle Beatty drew another walk, forcing in Burkhart, making it 3-1. Andrew Nauer flew out to first. Then Gavin Swartz delivered a clutch single to right, scoring Harris and Luke Beatty, pushing the lead to 5-1. Max Heineman singled home Luke Beatty and Swartz, making it 7-1. Drew Stevens then singled home Heineman, making it 8-1, and Michaels singled home Stevens to bring the score to 9-1. Holden Baldwin grounded out, scoring Michaels, who had stole third, making it 10-1. Corbin allowed just 3 hits over 5 innings, striking out 14. Swartz was 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Normal Community goes to 16-4 overall and 11-1 in the Big 12. They visit Urbana on Friday before hosting Moline for a twin bill on Saturday. Tuscola topped Clinton 10-2 on Wednesday in Central Illinois Conference high school softball action from Clinton High School. The Lady Maroons 2 runs. Both came in the bottom of the 6th inning. Annalise Thompson hit a 1-out double after a sac bunt. Avery Smith singled on a pop fly to short, bringing home Thompson for Clinton's first run. Hadley Humble followed with a single to center, scoring Smith. Smith was 3 for 3 with an RBI, while Thompson was 1 for 4 with a run scored, and Humble went 1 for 3 and drove in a run. Tuscola used a 7-run outburst in the top of the 7th to pull away late. Haynes pitched a complete game, allowing 9 hits and 10 runs, but 2 were earned while striking out 8. The Lady Maroons fall to 4-12 overall and 0-5 in the CIC. They are off until Monday when they host Tri-Valley. Hayworth came up just short to Tri-Valley, 8-5 in Heart of Illinois high school softball action Wednesday in Hayworth. The Lady Vikings jumped out early, scoring a run in the first and 4 in the second. The Lady Hornets responded with 2 runs in the second, trailing 7-3 in the bottom of the 6th. Natalie Kopp on base. Sydney Ditchin homered on a fly ball to right field to get the Lady Hornets within 7-5. However, Tri-Valley added a run in the top of the 7th inning to ultimately put the game away. Ditchin was 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs, including a home run in the 6th. Ellison Loudenberg was 2 for 3 with an RBI, while Gabby Dow finished 1 for 3 with an RBI. Hayworth falls to 11-8 overall and 1-7 in the Heart of Illinois. They'll visit Fieldcrest on Friday. Jake Bowers hit a go-ahead 2-run double in the 8th inning, and the Milwaukee Brewers beat the Chicago White Sox 6-4 Wednesday night for their 3rd straight victory.
Sox dropped their 2nd game in a row to the Brewers, and the defense clearly needs to be better after 3 errors on Wednesday night, one of which set up Milwaukee's Jake Bowers to be the hero.
Left-left matchup. Booster to Bowers. And a swing and a drive out into right center. This is trouble. It's going to one-hop the warning track, and it stays in play. 2 runs will score. That is a 2-run double for Bowers.
The Brew Crew went on to win 6-4 despite the Sox comeback effort. The Southsiders look to salvage the series with the Brewers on Thursday afternoon before the Astros come to town for 3 this weekend. I'm Jeff Meller, and I'll have your pregame coverage starting at 12:30 right here on the ESPN 1000 Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
And you can hear the Sox all weekend long, Friday through Sunday, right here on WHOW. Victor Scott, Lars Nootbaar, and Mason Wynn hit consecutive home runs in the 9th inning. Wynn going deep for the 2nd time in the game, and the Cardinals blanked the Reds 6-0 in the opener of a doubleheader Wednesday to stop the Reds' 5-game winning streak. Wynn homered on the 3rd pitch of the game off Brady Singer. Scott hit a 3-run homer in the 9th against Alexis Diaz. Nootbaar and Wynn followed as St. Louis hit 3 homers in a 14-pitch span. Miles Michaelis allowed 3 hits, no walks, in 5 1/3 innings with 4 strikeouts. The Cardinals had been 0-5 in his previous starts. Kyle Leahy, Jojo Romero, and Matt Svensson followed with hitless relief for the Cardinals' 3rd shutout. Cincinnati was blanked for the 4th time this season. Singer gave up 2 hits, 3 walks in 6 innings. Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol was ejected by plate umpire Bruce Dreckman in the 8th after arguing a called strike to Wynn, the 17th ejection of his managerial career and the 2nd this season. Wynn hit his 2nd and 3rd homers this season, walking twice and stealing a base. Nootbaar's homer was his 5th. Scott hit his 2nd homer and stole his 10th base. Cincinnati's Ellie De La Cruz extended his hitting streak to a career-best 13 games and stole 2 bases for a Major League leading 13. Gavin Lux went 0 for 3 with a walk, ending his 12-game hitting streak. Reds outfielder Austin Hayes is considered day-to-day after pulling a hamstring. Tyler Callahan, the 24-year-old selected in the 3rd round of the 2019 amateur draft, was 0 for 2 and played left field in his big league debut. Cincinnati placed infielder Jamir Candelario on the 10-day injured list with a lower back injury. He's hitting just $113. Diaz gave it 4 home runs, had given up 4 home runs this season, matching his 2023 total and 2 shy of his 2024 total. Michaelis had an 11.25 ERA after 2 starts, but had lowered it to 4.66. He has not allowed a homer in 29 innings this season. Wilson Contreras hit a 3-run homer in the first inning of the second game. Pedro Pajes added a solo shot, and the Cardinals swept the day-night doubleheader from the Reds 9-1 with the second game. Contreras and Pajes homered off 22-year-old right-hander Chase Petty, who allowed 9 runs, 7 hits, and 2 walks over 2 1/3 innings in his big league debut. Pajes homered on the 11th pitch of his at bat, and Jordan Walker added a 2-run double in the third. St. Louis entered 2-12 on the road and matched its season win total away from home. Petty was selected 26 by the Twins in the 2021 draft and was acquired in the March 2022 trade that sent pitcher Sonny Gray to the Twins. Cardinals starter Steven Matz allowed 5 hits with no walks and 6 strikeouts in 4 scoreless innings, lowering his ERA to 1.50. Gordon Graceffo got his first big league win, giving up a run on 2 hits in 5 innings with 5 strikeouts and no walks. He averaged 96.5 miles an hour on his fastball. With the count 2-2, Pajes fouled off 6 straight pitches before hitting his second homer of the season. At 22 years, 26 days, Petty was the youngest Reds pitcher to appear in a game since Homer Bailey at 21 years, 150 days in 2007. Reds right-hander Hunter Green will oppose Cardinals lefty Matthew Liberatore in the series finale today. Get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Daytime highs approaching 70 today under overcast skies with a chance of thunderstorms. Winds out of the southwest 10 to 20 miles per hour. Overcast again tonight, chance of thunderstorms. Lows level off around 54. Slight chance of rain showers. Tomorrow 70. More clouds than sun. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Right now 65.
All right, let's roll here, Dave. From the Country Financial Studio, I'm Rita Frazier. This is the RFD Livestock Report. First day of May, talking with the president of the Illinois Beef Association, Dave Duzan.